guys ever think of doing podcasting? I say put like a lot of I don't recommend drugs, but I do recommend caffeine. So just get something in there, just wake you up during the editing process, because the editing process is the longest process of a podcast, whether you think so or not. It's long, but it's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I could definitely agree. I mean, I
Yeah.
personally don't do caffeine, but I mean, I just kind of perk up somehow with just natural, like natural things God made, fruits, vegetables, water somehow. Which I just, if I need to, I'm probably just gonna resort to splashing it on my face, like kind of how they did it in iCarly with that one time when they were trying to do like I don't know what it was, like a 24-hour marathon or something.
It's like they're like the pre-streamers or the streamers, man. Those guys are grinders. Like those are legends, man. iCarly, like they sprayed themselves with cold water before it was a thing. Now people spray themselves with cold
Yeah.
water, and I'm like, I don't know how y'all do it, man. I mean, iCarly's an icon, dude. She's an icon. Our female, she was Kai Cenat before Kai Cenat was a thing, and that's when you know, they're the future. They're the future. And now, yeah, no way, I mean, we could try doing streaming, but streaming would just be like a 30-minute stream because I don't have a social battery to last longer than that, you know? Yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. But speaking of 30-minute stuff, the newest Marvel stuff has came out, which is 30 minutes long, I think. I haven't watched the entire thing, but I heard that it's a pretty short series. How short is it? I know you watched it all the way, so how short is the series?
Yeah, so Eyes of Wakanda is only 4 episodes long. Each episode is about, give or take, if you take the credits out, about 25 minutes long. It's honestly not that bad. So, I mean, briefly, all I could say about this is that it definitely does tie in into the sacred timeline of the MCU. It does tie in into Black Panther and Black Panther Wakanda Forever to an extent. It does a really great job at maintaining the anthology series formula, and it does it in a way where it doesn't feel like what if. It feels like instead of it being like you're focusing on different stories, but then you have one main character, it feels more like every single character is as important to the story as is the history of Wakanda. So it's something that it's a quick watch. I did it within 3 hours because I did my reactions to it. But I think for any person who, if you're wanting to skip the openings, you're wanting to skip the credits, I would say give or take about an hour and 40 minutes to 2 hours. It's not that long of a series. It's actually pretty good. Very underrated and it's very good. Definitely a great start to the first of Phase 6.
Hey, yeah, that's cool. Is it like 4 episodes or is it 6 episodes?
It's only four.
It's only four? Okay, it's not bad at all. I think I can handle that.
Or-
And if you love
mhm.
Ryan Coogler, if you love the Black Panther lore, I think that's one thing that's definitely incentive, because I love Ryan Coogler. I haven't watched Ironheart yet, but I heard people love it. I'm like, okay, let him cook. So if that's the case here, and Wakanda Forever looks interesting as an animation style, yeah, I think all that stuff it's really interesting for Marvel animation this year, and then we'll talk about Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man in a bit because this is our Spider-Man centric episode. But then we're gonna also head into DC for a little bit. We got tip our toes in there because we are nearly on our way to Peacemaker season 2, which is crazy. That season 1 came out 2022, I believe. So it's been a minute,
I think
but
so.
now we're back. We're back and more excited than ever. I think. How excited are you for Peacemaker season 2?
Honestly, I'm actually very excited for Peacemaker season 2. It would have been a little bit more exciting because I don't want to bring things down, but it's going to be the 1 year anniversary of when my grandmother passed away, and I'm going to definitely need something to perk myself up. And I feel like Peacemaker, for the raunchiness, for the extreme action that it has, its storyline that it has from the trailer that I've seen about the parallel Earths that are happening, that there's different Earths that he's going to be traveling to. It's definitely going to make me a little bit more knowledgeable as to how he's going to be in the DCEU and the DC universe that James Gunn's putting together, and it's going to start making more sense. And I'm liking that he's building the bridges between what's going to be canon in the DC universe and what's not. And this is just going to be a nice step forward. I can't wait to see everybody back. I can't wait to see what new characters we're going to be getting. I think he mentioned that there's going to be a big cameo towards the end of season 2, and the goal for what DC is going to be planning for its DC universe will be at the end as well. So hopefully, maybe the cameo is going to be something like maybe we'll get David Cornsworth Superman or maybe Amelia Alcock's Supergirl. Who knows? But I'm definitely excited on seeing what their future is going to be built upon.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, even if it doesn't build that much into the future for DC, I just want to see a good continuation from a pretty good season 1 of Peacemaker. I thought Peacemaker season 1 really flew under the radar for me. It wasn't a very, a well marketed show for me at least. I thought it was I thought it was gonna be cheeks, dude. Like I thought it was gonna be James Gunn one miss. I'm like, I don't think this looks good. Like I love John Cena. I love John Cena so much. but I didn't think it was gonna be good. But season one was very surprising. Like I thought the first four episodes with the humor, it really kind of like turned me off a little. But then the every other episode after that just really picked it up a notch, better and better and better. And then you get
Yeah.
used to the humor. So it's a show that's an acquired taste, but I feel like it's James Gunn's most James Gunny project, and it's also James Gunn's one of James Gunn's strongest projects in terms of character building, which I think is pretty solid because it's just one of his TV shows, which I think TV shows obviously should build characters better because of the longer format and the longer format storytelling. So I think that's what they did well. Peacemaker, John Cena established himself to be a pretty good actor, which I thought, John Cena's a pretty fun, like entertaining guy, which he gets that job done. But he differentiated himself from The Rock for me, in terms of like wrestlers turning to actors. Like he's not as strong as Dave Bautista as an actor, but he is stronger than The Rock, which I mean, no one wants to be as bad as The Rock. So that's why it's a good, it's a good mix, and at least you got Dave Bautista, you got John Cena, and then like all the way at the bottom is the rock bottom, quite literally. So it's a very refreshing thing to see John Cena in. The cast was fun.
Mhm.
I love Jennifer Holland. People say she got there because of what do you call the thing? What is that thing called when you have friends who work with you?
The nepotism,
Nepotism, yeah. Which I mean, who wouldn't hire your wife? I mean, come on, be nice to your wife and take
right?
her home and stuff like that.
Right?
So, I mean, I think that's just fine. It's fine to me. As long as
Mhm.
they're good at their job, I think that's all that matters. As long as they're good at the job. And yeah, I think
Yeah,
overall that entire season was a delight. And yeah, season two, I hope that they expand a lot and build a lot to the DC universe. Like you said, I really want David Cornsweet Superman there. That'd be tough. Um, I do know we're gonna have. I mean, we're gonna have what's her name? We're gonna have Hawkgirl. We're gonna have Nathan Fillion, and we're gonna have Max Lord. I don't know if we're gonna get Mr. Terrific there though. That's the thing. Is Mr. Terrific gonna be there? Because he's the only one that wasn't in that trailer. So that'd be interesting if he was the big cameo, which I don't mind because I love Mr. Terrific. He was pretty chill dude, pretty good
yeah,
vibes. So I'm like, yeah. Overall, I think I'm actually really excited. I'm really excited for that, and I think
yeah,
it might be the best. I hope it's the best our second best TV show or superhero TV show to come out this year because I do think Invincible season three. I forgot came out this year, but it came out this year, and I still think it's really strong. And then hopefully Peacemaker season two lives up to season one, and if not, gets better than season one. And I hope that is like second slot. And then we got
yeah.
Daredevil. So I just hope it's a good year for superhero content and good superhero TV shows. Yeah, I'm just really excited.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, shout out to the cast, like the main cast, to John Cena, to Danielle Brooks, to Freddie Stroma, to Jennifer Holland, and to Stephen G. You guys killed it in season one, and every single person who's going to be involved with season two. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, you could be right that they could bring back Mr. Terrific as a big cameo. I mean, James Gunn does want to develop spin-offs of Mr. Terrific and Jimmy Olsen from Superman into shows, and I honestly could see that work. And I can see how that's going to be something very, very interesting as a step forward. And Peacemaker season two is definitely going to have its surprises. It's definitely going to be different, and especially because it's going to try to differentiate itself from the DCEU to this DC universe. And I'm definitely interested as to why only we saw Isabella Merced and Nathan Fillion back, besides Sean Gunn, from the Superman movie, and that they're the only characters that we see so far. So it's going to be a couple days more. I mean, like it's about a week. It's about less than 2 weeks away, which is getting me pumped and it's getting me excited. So I gotta rewatch season one now because we're talking about it, and I gotta rewatch season one because it was definitely a fun show. So excited on getting to see John Cena back. But we're now focusing back to Marvel because the main news for today is Spider-Man. Spider-Man Brand New Day coming in theaters July 31st, 2026. Now, there's a lot of different things that Sony's been doing. They've been upping the marketing for a couple teasers that they had. They had a small 9-second teaser of the suit. Then they had an official reveal of the suit, and then they had a behind-the-scenes look at day one of filming over in Glasgow. Now, honestly, for me, I actually love the way how the suit looks for Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's a combination of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and it feels more comic accurate than ever. Now, I know that there's some people that they didn't like this suit, but what is your opinion on Tom Holland's new suit for Spider-Man Brand New Day?
Oh yeah, of course. To the people who don't like Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man brand new day suit, I'm gonna say I most disrespectfully disagree. Most disrespectfully, because that suit it looks the most unapologetically Spider-Man suit I've ever seen, and I enjoy that so much. I was such a it's a beautiful it's just a beautiful work of art, I think. It looks like it came out of the page, quite literally. Like it got ripped out of the page. it looks the most Spider-Man like, and I feel like, um, I love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man suit. I do a lot, and I do love Tobey Maguire's suit a lot too. But I do think this one brings to that more comic booky flair. It's less of a cinematic flair. I won't lie. It's less of a cinematic flair and more of a comic booky flair, which I feel like most of these uh that's where most of these comic book costumes have been trending towards. You see the more bold colors, the more bold, almost like saturated colors that are most cinematic suits aren't really like that. They're more Bronze Age, more not Bronze Age. They're more like toned down, muted a bit. Like Snyder's Superman suit was very muted to make sure they got that cinematic look they wanted, right? And I think like that's kind of how Andrew Garfield's suit looks like to me because it is a very muted like blue. It's a nice red, I won't lie, but it's a very muted blue, which kind of does add that more cinematic flair, but it does also take away from the comic bookiness of the suit. Now, for Holland's suit, it's just all out colors, and I love that. The raised webbing is subtle while also being effective, and the eyes look great. It's a very great suit, and the set photos have not sold the suit whatsoever as well as like some photos have sold it because there's some photos out there like I think I saw some man on TikTok or where like there's literally photos of Spider-Man just aura farming on set where he's just like have you seen that photo of him literally with his back turned and he's just standing on a car? Have you seen that photo of
Yeah,
Spider-Man? Yeah, that's like aura
I
farm
have
right
seen that
there.
one.
Yeah, it's beautiful, dude. And so I'm like, that's what Spider-Man's all about, man. It's inspiring. It's almost like in awe, right? Because like, it's just like, damn, that's Spider-Man. He's real. And I really appreciate that. A lot of the stuff photos really showcase them practically swinging, which is great. I all that practical movement there is insane because I don't think I'd ever see that. Like I don't remember seeing that much stuff photos of and not Andrew, Toby. I think Toby did some swinging practically, but I know Andrew Garfield did some swinging practically too. But this is a lot of practicality here with Tom swinging, which is great. I think that's awesome. It really gives that more grit, that real world texture we like to see from these characters and from Spider-Man. Actually, no. Let's start off with you. How would you rank the costumes, the live action costumes of Spider-Man, from from worst to best, from Toby, Tom, and Andrew? How would you rank them in terms of like his different costumes, their different costumes throughout the movies?
If it's only just in terms of like just one suit, I would put Toby's at number two. I would put Andrew's Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit at number three because that looks so gorgeous. Because no disrespect to when he started out with the first suit in Amazing Spider-Man, but it's like to me, I just felt like the eyes were a little bit too sunglasses tinted, and it just wasn't like it's like it felt like more like Spider-Man 2099 sort of era type of thing that I wasn't used to, and I was more used to Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, so I thought, we're just gonna stick with that. But to me, Tom Holland's suit honestly is my favorite one. I would say at the number one spot, I would actually would. It's a tough one because I would go more with the suit that he had in Homecoming, just because like it's like the most comic accurate to that point. But this is only just on the release schedule because I mean the Inside Out suit is pretty awesome from No Way Home, and I would rank it as a four. I think the one that I really would say like it doesn't appeal to me as much. But then again, it's like it is what it is. It's definitely going to be the Andrew Garfield one from Amazing Spider-Man, like the first one. I think the black symbiote suit from Andrew Garfield's definitely one up there too. So I would give that like I don't know, probably like a six because five is definitely the Far From Home suit. I love the Far From Home suit just because I love how the black also complements the red. I think that it's very different, even though that it feels exactly the same. Honestly, it's a tough one because like see, I have to go through my numbers again, and I have to like literally think about this out because the Iron Spider suit, in my opinion, is pretty tight. Like it's one of the coolest suits that he's had, and I wish I would have seen him more. But it's kind of got to be a little bit more towards the bottom because really wish that there was more to the Iron Spider suit than just what it was. Like, but if you're also including the new suit out here for Tom Holland, I gotta admit, I'm gonna just go with that one for number one, and then have for the Homecoming suit there. And you know what? I'll just go ahead and throw the Iron Spider suit up at number three because honestly, I really need to work on my rankings because that was a fastball question thrown at me. But honestly, his new suit to me, I think will be my favorite one out of all of them between Toby and Andrew and Tom because that's a gorgeous suit. Like it's gorgeous for the fact that it's a blend of everybody's. It's a blend of Andrew Garfield's. It's a blend of Tobey Maguire's. I see that the mask feels a little bit like Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man 2. I feel the suit is a homage to Tobey Maguire's webbing on his, and it's just that personality that Tom Holland flares is just crazy, and I don't know why Siri got activated. Yikes!
That's okay.
I wasn't saying, I wasn't talking to Siri, and then all of a sudden, boom! Now you guys know how I make my videos on my end.
Good.
Okay, what? How would you rank the suits now on from your perspective?
You're right. So when you lay it all out there like that, I'm like, dang, there's been so many different suits, you know? Um, I do think like, when you laid it out, I think I think the weakest suits I think come from No Way Home. Like I think all of those Spider-Man suits, I think they're pretty interesting designs. I don't think they're the strongest designs in my opinion. I think it's a they're trying to do a little too much sometimes, and sometimes it's just like so like the Iron Spider suit, the integrated suit where it looks like the Iron Spider, and then we got the Inside Out suit, which is kind of the same thing. So you got those three. I think those are the bottom. Like I think that's putting at I don't know how many suits are there. There's so many different suits. Those are the bottom, and then we're getting hit to like mid tier. I think mid tier is probably like the Homecoming, Far From Home. You know, I enjoy the what's it called? I really enjoy the Far From Home's the black and red suit. It goes pretty hard. I enjoy that a lot. That really fits the kind of Spider-Man that they're going for, and I think that goes in the upper. That's upper for me, but not too much, you know. And yeah, then we got the Homecoming suits, which the Homecoming suits are pretty solid too. I think they're a good bunch. I don't think they're my favorite, and even though I know a lot of people love the homemade suit that they had for Tom's suit, I thought it was okay. You know, I didn't love it that much, but I think it looks better in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man cartoon than it looked in the movie itself. So I'll give it that credit. I think it looks better. That design at least is executed a lot better in in the animated series than it is in Homecoming. And then the Civil War suit, the it's essentially the same suit. They kind of share the same thing. I do think that suit has kind of like withered down for me for a bit. You know, I think it could have been better, but you know, it's just a lot of different lines and all that. The lining with the aesthetics that kind of work for me that well, but that's okay, honestly. And now we officially hit top five, top five favorite suits, which I think number five goes to the Tobey Maguire black the black symbiote suit. That goes so hard. I love the raised webbing. I love how that looks. It's very cinematic and it's not comic accurate whatsoever, but I enjoy it a lot. So I'm gonna give it number five. And then number four, um, I don't know. Let's see. Oh yeah, number four is probably going the the Amazing Spider-Man one suit. You know, I think that suit. I really enjoy that suit a lot. It looks like a basketball, frankly speaking, but I love basketball, so I'll give it some credit. It looks like a bouncing ball. I'm like bang 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 whenever time I see it. But it looks nice. I think it's a different
Yeah.
aesthetic than what we're used to. You know, it's not comic accurate. It's not anything, but it's bold. It's ambitious, and I give it that credit. You know, it fits a lot better with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man and how they written Spider-Man than it does for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, which I think it's a bold take, I think. Like I do think that the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit fits the entire trilogy, not trilogy. It fits the entire character of Andrew Garfield's a lot better than it does with Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, which I do think outputs I have a soft spot for Tobey Maguire's regular suit. I love his suit so much. But when I think of Spider-Man, I think of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man 2 suit, TASM suit. I put Tobey Maguire suit 3, and then we put TASM 2 suit at 2. You know, because I think that looks amazing. It's a beautiful suit, you know. And then of course we hit number one. I'm gonna glaze it at. I'm gonna glaze it a hell back. It's beautiful. We go Tom Holland's newest brand new day suit, which I think is everything that you want from a Spider-Man suit, and it just has that different type of like it feels cheaply made to a degree. Like you look at it and it feels like cosplay, but I think that's the point, you know. Like it has to feel like it has to feel like a broke kid made that, you know, a kid who has who doesn't have all the resources anymore and just has the resources that he has stand by, you know. And I think that's what's beautiful about it. It feels very homemade, but also very comic booky and comic accurate, and I adore that a lot about the new brand new day suit. And yeah, I think that's what's so beautiful about not only about these suits, right, but also the character of Spider-Man himself. I think that the beauty of Spider-Man and what he means to me, you know, and I'm like we're gonna transition there, you know, it's a jarring transition, but we'll go with that, you know. And yeah, I do think with Spider-Man, I think Spider-Man, what he means to everyone and what he means to like me most of all was like, you know, he was like the first character I've ever was introduced to, you know. It was one of those guys that when I came home, my parents gave me one of those like Spider-Man toys, you know, it was crazy, you know. It was a crazy sight to see. You know? I always destroyed my toys, so like one of my black Tobey Maguire figures, like it was missing a finger. I'm like, I don't know, how are you missing a finger, Tobey Maguire? But I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Tobey Maguire. if I want him to sign that thing so bad, but I'm like, I'm sorry, he's missing the finger. But I don't know, man. It's just I think what resonates with me the most with him as a kid was as a kid, I thought Spider-Man was the coolest thing ever because the brother could walk on walls. He could defy physics and defy human limitations, yet the character has so much limitations to himself. The character, Peter Parker, sees every little boundary and almost crumbles to a degree because his life is so sad. It's depressing. But it's also uplifting to see that man push through the boulders, push through the weight of the world and help balance that on his life. You know, he's a guy who has the worst work-life balance I've ever seen in my life. But it's so refreshing to see a guy who does struggle, but he gets up anyway because he knows that if he doesn't get up for himself, other people won't get up for themselves either because he is a beacon of hope in a way that other heroes, you know, like Superman and Batman, you know, those guys are different in ways, different types of beacon of hope. Where I feel like Spider-Man is the everyman, right? Like, do you agree that like Spider-Man is probably possibly the most relatable character in fiction, or at least comic book fiction?
I absolutely do because as a kid, Spider-Man was also the first superhero I was introduced to as a kid. But it was an interesting way how I got introduced to Spider-Man. So I got introduced to Spider-Man because of a newspaper article clipping, which it was advertising for Spider-Man 2 back in 2004. And I remember that I was like, "What's that?" And so I was told who Spider-Man was, and the first thing that I wanted as a kid was the original Lego set from 2004, and it was the one that just got remade and re-released earlier this month of the famous train sequence or the subway sequence
Hmm.
where Tobey Maguire is just trying to hold the train back with the webbing, and that was the first thing that I wanted. I mean, I had the Spider-Man 3 action figures. I had the one where it was him riding on the quad. I don't know if you remember that one, but it was like him riding on a quad, and I was like, this is one of the coolest things ever. And the older that I got, I started realizing, you know, he had some sort of like work balance that was terrible, but it gave me hope on my end on how if he was able to balance his academic life with his social life, with superhero life, with his personal family life, and still going through a lot, then I believe that any person at his age could be able to do the same thing. That's what got me through high school, and you know, I started rewatching Spider-Man again after my grandmother passed away, and I realized, you know, there's a lot more to Spider-Man than I thought them from before. Because I mean, he lost his parents, he lost Uncle Ben, and in this version, you know, he lost Aunt May, and you know, he's even lost Tony Stark. So he's lost like his actual father, two father figures, one of his mentors, and then his aunt, who's the second mother figure to him. And the other crazy thing is that throughout this whole entire thing, he also loses a lot more. Like, you know, he loses MJ, he loses Ned for the temporary a moment amount of time. He loses Doctor Strange. He loses practically everybody, you know, because they're not going to remember him for a while. And hopefully, Spider-Man: Brand New Day does address to how they could be able to remember him somehow. I really want them to, because I know that Zendaya and Jacob Batalon are back for Spider-Man: Brand New Day, and I'm super happy that they are. And you know, I saw earlier that Sadie Sink's now filming some of her scenes now, which is amazing. But what I personally love about Spider-Man is the fact that, you know, despite that he goes through so much, he's been through so much loss, he's been through so much pain, he still has this purpose that he feels like, you know, at some points he feels like, why do I even do this? And reminds us a lot about like why do we do the things that we do. But then once we get back up and we move forward from the mental and emotional distress points that we have, you know, we then start to realize that, you know, even though that sometimes we might not be wanting to live for ourselves because of the situations that we're in, it doesn't mean that there aren't people who don't care about us, and that there's people who want us to keep going because they want to see us succeed. And you know, Spider-Man's built up a reputation at this point to where people want to see him succeed. And because that Spider-Man: Brand New Day is a 3-year gap from the ending of No Way Home to Brand New Day, I think that there's going to be something there that he's going to build up the reputation, and you know, people are going to love him because you know he's the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man of New York. And you know, people need a hero, especially they need somebody to look up to, and especially in a time like right now. I like how it's quoted in Into the Spider-Verse, when Miles is in that comic book shop, and he's like, I don't know, is this too big? And then do you have the Stan Lee cameo, which was one of the final ones that he had, and it says, kid, anybody could wear the suit. And technically, anybody can wear that suit. Any of us can be Spider-Man, Spider-Woman, Spider-People. You know, like, we have the power to be able to do so. And I think that that's what makes Spider-Man one of the most iconic figures in comic book history, and one of the most iconic fictional characters of all time.
Yeah, I do absolutely agree with that, you know. And I think Stan Lee, I'd like to add what you said about Stan Lee, because Stan Lee, I think he purposely made it where Spider-Man is fully clothed, you know, he's fully masked up. He like you really can't tell who it is based on like there's no like no facial recognition. There's no like body like exposed parts of him because Spider-Man could be essentially anyone and anything. Um, it gives everyone a chance to be a hero to see themselves under a mask. It's like you know like for Tony Stark, like we love Tony Stark, right? But no one's gonna be a billionaire. No one's gonna have the wits, the power uh to at least be an engineer in that way. Like Spider-Man is an engineer, but the brother's broke, so he has to work with what he got. He's crafty. He has to be smart with his resources because those are the resources he can only fiend for. And I think that's what's wonderful about the character Spider-Man. He's a guy who puts one foot in front of the other every single day, not knowing what's in store for him in terms of what his life is going to be in his web of lies and web of different flying pieces of crap that fly at his face every day during the job of being a Spider-Man and being the job of Peter Parker. And I think I it's interesting when everyone thinks Peter Parker, right? Like when you think Spider-Man, you think Peter Parker, right? But then we have, thanks to Spider-Verse and the Spider-Verse films, we got different iterations of Spider-Man now. It's not just Peter Parker, even if we get Peter Parker. Every character goes through trials and tragedies, yet they somehow get back up one way or another and build their name, build a legacy through Spider-Man and branches out from. And I think it's what's wonderful about not what just about the animated Spider-Verse films, but the Spider-Man films in general, because it shows us that our tragedies aren't just what stop us, but it's what builds us up into being stronger, into being better, and into being a better hero, into weaving a life of mystery and despair, but a life that's worth living and a life that helps other lives live as well. And I think that's what's beautiful about Spider-Man. I just like love to end it off there for my part because I think, yeah, it's just a wonderful character, one of my favorite characters of all time, if not my favorite character of all time. And I can't wait to see more of this character. I'm so hopeful to a degree. I mean, God knows if Brand New Day sucks, I'm gonna be so sad. But if it doesn't, I mean, the suit looks great, so I'm not gonna be that mad. So I'm more hopeful when I think about Spider-Man and when I talk about Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm very hopeful for Spider-Man: Brand New Day, and I'm really hopeful for for his future. I'm hopeful that I don't think that Spider-Man: Brand New Day is going to need to rely on its heroes and its other heroes and its villains, like with John Bernthal returning as Punisher, Mark Ruffalo returning as the Hulk, or Michael Mando returning as Scorpion. I don't think it's going to need to rely on the additional supporting characters that we're going to be getting. I think that Spider-Man, like, alone is like the name of it, especially what Sony has done very well with Disney and Marvel about handling the character, and then how the character was handled between Civil War all the way up to Spider-Man No Way Home. I think that that's one of the few things that a lot of comic book moviegoers, they're very confident in seeing, that there's this consistency with Spider-Man, which is kind of like a shame to when we see what goes on with Marvel these days, with what we saw with Captain America: Brave New World, with Thunderbolts, with Fantastic Four. As I'm looking right now, that the number worldwide, the box office worldwide just jumped up to 437 million. So it already beat Captain America: Brave New World's entire theatrical run and Thunderbolts run. And it's making me have hope a little bit more, just because that we haven't had Spider-Man stuff theatrically in 5 years. And I believe that this is going to be kind of like the start of a brand new era. And I think that Phase 6 is going to help revitalize people's love for Marvel. And yes, the Marvel Cinematic Universe had its ups and downs amongst fans. But I do think that because we haven't gotten these characters for a while, like, briefly touching on Fantastic Four, we haven't gotten them in a long time. And this is the first time that we've gotten them. It's going to be a slow, steady climb, but they're definitely going to get something, like, it's definitely going to be a rewarding thing. And I think because, Eyes of Wakanda has been doing very well, I think because Marvel Zombies is going to be doing very well in a couple of months, I think Spider-Man on his end is one of those few characters where I think people has the most amount of confidence, which it shames me to think that there's those who do not have confidence in Doomsday and Secret Wars, which I can understand, but I think we just need to give Marvel a chance. I think that they're working on some sort of strategy. Maybe these leaks that are going on are false. We don't know, because Marvel tends to surprise us. Whether if it's a good surprise or a bad surprise, I think we just had to let them, cook and do what they got to do. And I'm going to be happy either way. I think that it's going to be a great conclusion to the Multiverse Saga. And I think that it's going to be a great conclusion to this 20-year story that's been going on since 2008. So I think that, for ending in my part, I think Spider-Man is going to do well. I think it's going to do very well. I think it's going to reach over a billion, and it might even catch up to the 2 billion mark because Spider-Man: No Way Home was very, very close. So I think this could possibly be a $2 billion movie, but we don't know yet until it gets released next year. But I do have a lot of confidence that Sony and Disney and Marvel are going to cook up something that it's going to be a game changer and a definitely good setup to Doomsday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. No, and yeah, we'd love to end off the episode there. I think we just glazed enough of Spider-Man today, so we can live another day. We can talk about other heroes now. Batman's gonna be on the call. We're gonna have Superman on the call. So yeah, we start off with Spider-Man. I do think he's the best hero of all time. My favorite. I don't know if you agree he's the best hero of all time, but he's one of my favorites and one of the best, if not the best. And yeah, one of the another episode in the books. A shorter episode. I hope so. For my editing's sake, and for my mental health. Just God, gosh, but I think it's a it's a time of our life. It's a time of our lives, man. Time of life. Appreciate you being here, man. Appreciate you getting on the call, bro, and getting ready to film. I really appreciate that a lot, bro. And I appreciate y'all watching as well. It's a steady climb in this journey of podcasting, but it's just great to talk, and just keep yapping about superheroes. It's one of our passions out here in life, and chase that while we got it. Yeah, anything else you gotta say, bro?
I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and I also want to thank everybody who hope if they came from here and came to my channel. My channel has finally reached to over 400 subscribers. I got a special that's coming up for 500. I announced it on my channel, but if it's safe enough to announce it on here, my 500 subscriber channel, which I would hope that maybe we can get to discuss this on the podcast at least for a little segment because it is superhero related. I am doing a Lego stop motion movie on the X-Men. So hopefully that's going to revitalize some interest in the X-Men. It's going to revitalize some interest in what their role is going to be like to Doomsday, and more of seeing them with X-Men '97 and the upcoming X-Men reboot from Disney and Marvel Studios. And if you guys want to be able to check that out, please go over to my channel. It would mean a lot. I also have little segments on like how at 425 subscribers I will drop the teaser trailer. At 450 I will drop the official trailer. At 475 I will drop an official clip. At 500 will be official release. But please don't do it too quick because I'm barely polishing the script right now. It's done, but I'm barely polishing it up. But I still need to film things out. So kind of gradually gradually come over, but don't subscribe too quick. It's going up too much. So
No, no,
it's
no,
actually
no.
making me freak out a little.
Make it done faster. Get it done faster. You're gonna get there 500 soon. Come on, let's go. Oh no,
But
we're gonna
yeah,
get
I mean,
done. Even set of riots, man. Let's go. Get him to 500. Let's go. Go, 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 go. Let's go.
yeah, please check out all this stuff on there, and hopefully we'll get to do like a somewhat of a review on here that you get to check it out and you get to express your thoughts on how I did with it. Um, But yeah, if you guys want to check out my channel, it's the Idea Maker. If you guys want to follow me on any of my social media, I have got Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, AKX, and my Discord server. And honestly, I love being on here. I've had a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a short episode, but guess what? I mean, we covered a lot, and I'm very, very happy on how much we covered. Hopefully the editing isn't too hard on your end. If anything, I will definitely help on editing. So you have no worries. I mean, I know I
Ah,
got my editing stuff and everything.
thank you.
So,
Yes,
but
sir.
I'm willing to put in the work too.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Appreciate it, man, and appreciate y'all, man, and appreciate y'all watching, and yeah. Have a good one and have a flipping day. I don't know how to think of something on the spot.
Thank you guys so much for checking out the podcast. God bless you guys. Stay safe. We will see you all in the next episode. All right, guys. We'll see ya.